Om Sarvadharmasthapagastam Sarvadharmaswarupakaha Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. We are studying Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master, second part as Sadhak Bhav, and we are in the most important chapter in a way, Vedanta Sadhana, and we have read up to 6 paragraphs of that chapter. There, Master's fitness for Vedanta Sadhana was described. Of course, the most ideal fitness, but the points are the same for everyone, even us. And then the other circumstances, that his mother was present and Haldari was present, and then his nature that he could absorb in any mood, and he had finished all the bhavas, sadhanas. And then you have also seen the reason that led the master to practice the non-dual mood after he had attained perfection in bhava samadhi. So that is the bhavatita, that is the source of all bhavas, that is the fulfillment of all bhavas. So naturally after that, Madhur Bhava sadhana, Thakur wanted that. Now, another point from this same. Number 7. The rationale of his effort to attain the non-dual mood at the end of his sadhana of the devotional moods. From another standpoint also, the rationale of his practice of the non-dual mood after his perfection in the disciplines of Madhur Bhava is clearly brought up. The relation of the realm of devotional moods to that beyond them is one of effect to the cause. Devotional moods are the effect, that is the cause. For the immense bliss of the realm of non-duality, immense bliss, infinite bliss, beyond the loving moods, limits itself and then manifests itself as the enjoyment of the bliss of the sight, touch, etc. of the realm of those moods. So that is unlimited. It constrains itself and becomes the joy of these moods. A wonderful statement by Swami Saradananda. The Vaishnavas and Shaivas, please understand. They feel that, I will quote somebody, that Shankara's joy is static joy. Ours is dynamic joy. This dynamic joy means kalushita joy. Dynamic joy means you and your beloved, the joy is broken, mind you. Akhanda Satchidananda becomes broken, mind you. So that gets limited, then it becomes this, mind you. So here the joy is seeing God, touching God, smelling God, that is unlimited. Where then except to the plane of non-duality could his mind go when he had reached the ultimate limit of the Madhur Bhava, which is the final stage of the realm of devotional moods? So in devotional moods, no joy highest than the Madhur Bhava. And that also is a limited edition of the Advaita Bhava. So when he has reached that, where it will go? Automatically the mind will want to go above. Although the above argument is quite reasonable, the following event proves, however, that the master launched on the practice of the non-dual mode only on the hint of the Divine Mother. Why Saradan Swamiji has brought this? Why? 2 reasons. The devotees will not observe any rationality. They will so, but so if they believe in personal God in the form of mother, then mother asked Thakur to do that. That will remove their doubt. That is the main point. Secondly, Thakur did not do anything for himself. When mother said, it means for the fulfillment of the needs of the world it is necessary. So Thakur did it. To the whole world it has to be proved that these bhavas lead to Advaita, and the bhavas themselves are the constrained form of this very Advaita. To whole world needs this. There is the real harmony between all bhavas. And so, it is after mother told him that he did it, is for this purpose Saradananda Swamiji is describing it. Ordinary Vedanti will not believe it. And it's not necessary for him. So, the various arguments are targeted to different people. The Vedantis will say nothing of this is required. He wanted Advaita and he went to Advaita. But the devotees may feel, why? So, rationale has been shown. But in spite of that, the devotees won't accept. So, mother told him to do it. So, now you cannot question. I will quote a parallel example. Swami Vivekananda, learning from Sri Ramakrishna, started the Seva Dharma. Master Masha in the beginning could not believe that. In Kashi, Ramakrishna Mission Sevashram, there is no temple. The idea is the patients are God. And the flower plots in front of the wards, nobody plucks flower from there because they are already offered to the patient Narayana. Master Masha went there. Holy Mother went there. And Holy Mother was shown all the wards. After coming back, somebody asked her, how did you see Mother? She said, I saw Narayana in all the wards. And I'm extremely happy. Take this 10 rupee note as my humble donation to you, this Seva Dharma. If you see that note, they have that preserved in the office. It is a more than 1,000 rupees note, 2,000 rupees note. Those days, 10 rupee note. So then somebody asked Master Masha, what do you say now? He said, now I have nothing to say. Because the mother has accepted that. Who am I to say anything? This is the same thing here. The same mother who is Kali, the same mother is Sarada. And Navayuga Dharma, she has thoroughly supported, accepted Naren's ideas. And similarly, Thakur is establishing the Navayuga Dharma. And there is a total reconciliation between the Bhavas and the Advaita. Though it is there in the old scriptures. In the Mandukya Karika, it is there. But people don't understand, people don't interpret it that way. So, that is the similarity of the example. Sri Totapuri arrived at Dakshineshwar. Now the narration also will start, and how mother told Thakur, that will also come. Desirous of bathing in the confluence of the sea and Ganga, and of having the vision of Sri Jagannath at Puri, the itinerant teacher Tota, they were the names. Now we keep very sophisticated names like Amakananda, Tamakananda, and following Ramakrishna Mission. It has spread everywhere. But otherwise, the names were just names to understand one person different from the other. And so, Tota. Tota in Hindi means a parrot. Among the giris I have seen, on the rivers, Kshipragiri, Yamunagiri, Gangagiri. So some name has to be kept. Now we have a lot of sophistication of names, but Thakur's guru was Tota, parrot. The itinerant teacher Tota came wandering at will from central India to Bengal. He came from central India to Bengal. But later on, Saradananda Swami will describe that he belonged to place in Punjab near Kurukshetra. So it has been found out now. During that Guru Bhav, I have described all that to you. 64 kilometers from Kurukshetra is a place called Ladhana, Baba Ka Ladhana, and there, outside the Ladhana village, now you cannot see that. It has been razed to the ground. I was fortunate enough to see that. 200 open doored rooms where Naga sadhus could stay. And in the Ladhana proper, 1,000 rooms of that type. So, though he came from central India, he did not belong to central India. He belonged to, and that Punjab has been broken now into Punjab and Haryana and all that. So, it belonged to Haryana as per modern terminology. He was merged. Why he came from central India? That is also being described. He was merged in spiritual practices on the holy river Narmada, where he lived alone for a very long time and attained the immediate knowledge of Brahman along the path of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This Narmada river is very, very famous among the Advaitis. Omkareshwar, the place where Shankar met his Guru and attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi, is on Narmada. Similarly, there are various ashramas on that Narmada. Amarkantak to right up to where it meets the sea. So he also practiced there. The old monks of that place bear witness to this fact even now during Sardanji's time. When he realized Brahman in this way, a desire to wander at will arose in his mind. That is what the Paramahamsas do. Under the impulse of that urge, he now came to eastern India and traveled from one place of pilgrimage to another. Content in themselves, the knowers of Brahman see the whole universe at all times other than that of Brahman as only Brahman. To us, it may be other than Brahman, but in their eyes, it is Brahman only, as the manifestations through Maya of Brahman. So they see Brahman means through Maya, Brahman is manifested as this word. Maya means wrong knowledge. And go on visiting temples, holy men, and places of pilgrimage, experiencing Brahman in them. So, in holy places, pilgrimages, places, holy persons, that manifestation of Brahman is more. Similarly, Tota, a knower of Brahman, began visiting the deities and holy places. He came to Dakshineshwar on his way back to the northwestern parts of this country. So clear. Central India, he practiced, became Brahmajna, came to eastern parts, some pilgrimage, and now going back to Punjab, northwestern parts of the country. After visiting the two places of pilgrimage mentioned above, Jagannath Puri and Ganga Sagar, it was not customary with him to spend more than 3 days in one place. That is the Paramahamsa. They do not want to form attachment to any place. So 3 days and go. He therefore came to the Kali temple to spend there 3 days only. He did not at first understand that by her inscrutable sport, the Mother of the Universe brought him there in order to complete his own knowledge and to make her own child practice Vedanta discipline with his help. This little has to be understood because some Vedantis lay objection to this. They say in order to increase Thakur's value, he has been described like that. The objection is that when he is described as a knower of Brahman, how it is said that his knowledge is not yet complete? And it became complete with the help of Sri Ramakrishna. That is a great point. It has already been described that he did believe that through Maya, Brahman has appeared as the world. Now, Maya, in the minds of Shankarites in general, is that it is all mithya. Saguna Brahman, they believe, but they do not give any value to that. So psychologically, there was something lacking. By Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he could realize the transcendent Brahman. But the same Brahman is Shakti. The same Brahman is Sagun. Equal value to Nirguna and Sagun. He had no occasion to do that, as will be described about his life later on. So this part, Thakur corrected him. Thakur knows from the beginning. Thakur already has Nirvikalpa Samadhi when he first wanted to realize Mother. And there itself, he has made the reconciliation between Nirguna and Sagun. And so, this half part he has yet to learn. So, there is no contradiction. He is a knower of Brahman. He is a Jivan Mukta. That means, when he dies, he will not have to be reborn again. For that, Dunya Mithya is sufficient. But it is not the full truth. The full truth, as described in the highest scripture called Mandukya Upanishad, as per Shankaracharya, I talked of Shankarites, not Shankaracharya. Shankara has emphasized the Nirguna Brahma, and this emphasis has led his followers to believe that that is the only thing to be realized. In the Mandukya Upanishad, in the first mantra we are told, all this is Om, meaning that all this is not real. It appears real because there is a Brahman at the back. In the second mantra it is said, all this is Brahman. And there Shankar says, now only the knowledge becomes complete. In the Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter, Yada bhuta prithak bhavam ekatvam anupashyati tata evacha vistaram brahma sampadhyate tada. You are really realized Brahman when you have seen that the variety vanishes into unity, and from that unity again variety is born. So that part Tota theoretically knew, but he had not paid any attention to that psychologically, because his life had gone in a different way, and that Thakur fulfilled. So neither lowering of Brahmajnan nor magnifying Thakur, Saradananda Swami has said in several places in Leelaprasanga that it is not possible to exaggerate Sri Ramakrishna. He is much more than we imagine. It is a fact. And so, this is the thing that Mother wanted two things. Thakur to practice sadhana under a qualified teacher. So Tota comes, and Tota's life should be fulfilled with the help of Thakur so that he will go back and teach his followers the full truth. The master and Totapuri greeted each other. The master had the divine instruction to practice Vedanta This is what he was hinting. Arriving at the Kali temple, Totapuri came first of all to the big open portico of the Ghat, Chandi. Wearing one piece of cloth only, like all others, the master was then absent-mindedly seated in a corner. No mention of this in Bengali, one piece of cloth only, like all others. What is the meaning? This clause is not there in Bengali. Bengali says, master was absent-mindedly seated in a corner. From where he got this? Anyway, there is no relevance and it is not there in Bengali. As soon as Tota's eyes fell on the master's face, radiant with austerity and beaming with the surge of devotion, he was attracted towards him and felt in his heart of hearts that he was not an ordinary person and that there were few who were so very fit for Vedantic sadhana. He could understand by seeing Thakur. Filled with curiosity and astonishment, Tota stepped forward and came up to the master, thinking, can there be such a fit aspirant for Vedantic discipline in Bengal, which is saturated with tantric practices? Observing him carefully, he asked the master of his own accord, you seem to be well qualified. Do you like to practice Vedantic discipline? Uttam Adhikari is not mentioned in English. তোমাকে উত্তম অধিকারী বলিয়া বোধ হইতেছে, well qualified for very short of it. There is a category among the Vedantic sadhana, Uttam, Madhyam and Adam. And that Uttam is Thakur. Who is Uttam Adhikari? Who has realized God, he is only can become the Uttam Adhikari. Because the Adhikari is defined as Vivek, Vairagya, Samadhi, Sat Sampatti and Mumukshutva. And Saradananda Swamiji has added 2 or 3 more. And one who is, this adhikar does not mean that after gaining perfection in them you come to Shravanmana and Dasan. No, this only shows the direction of life. Now somebody has only turned the direction. Somebody has walked a little and somebody has gone full distance in this sadhana chatushtai. Who can do that? One who is perfect. So, that is the meaning of Tota saying Uttam Adhikari, which has been missed in English. He saw him as Uttam Adhikari. There, English says, such a fit aspirant for Vedantic discipline. There also, Uttam Adhikari in this Tantric Bengal, and to Thakur he straight away said, you seem to be the highest qualified for this sadhana of Vedanta. Do you like to practice Vedantic discipline? The master said in answer to the tall, naked mendicant with matted hair, I know nothing of what I should do or not. Small eye has gone. My mother knows everything. The reality of the universe is Thakur's reality and she knows everything. I shall do as she commands. Tota replied, then go, ask your mother and come back, for I will not stay here long. Without saying anything in reply, the master went slowly to the Divine Mother's temple. He was in ecstasy there. He entered Samadhi and got direct communication from the mother. There, when he heard her words of advice, go and learn. It is in order to teach you that the monk is come here. Okay? So there we understand that Divine Mother wanted this to happen. She has brought that monk and so she has asked Thakur to practice. Tota's conception of the mother of the universe. That is the problem. In a divine state of semi-consciousness, the master then came to Tota with his face beaming with joy and informed him of his mother's instruction. Knowing that he thought actually in the beginning his own mother. Knowing that she, whom the master called mother, was the image of the Devi installed in the temple. So these Vedantis do not believe in the image worship. Tota, though charmed with his childlike and simplicity, thought that the attitude of his mind was due to ignorance and superstition. We may well infer that there appeared now a smile of pity and derision in the corner of Tota's lips. For his keen intellect did not have any great regard for the deities except the Ishvara spoken of in the Vedanta. So intellect means going by tarka, going by reason. In the Vedanta, karma phala vidhata Ishwar is mentioned. No other deities and all that is necessary. In the regard for the deities, except the Ishvara spoken of in the Vedanta as the distributor of the results of action, nor would he admit for an aspirant with self-control and given to the meditation of Brahman, the devotion to and worship of such an Ishvara. But that is what Thakur has shown to us in this modern age. It is easy to go through Saguna to the Nirguna. That becomes the more natural thing. And we have seen this taught in the Bhagavad Gita also. With self-control and given to the meditation of Brahman, the devotion to and worship of such an Ishvara, apart from a mere faith in his existence, because he does not want any fruit. So Ishvara is karma phala vidhata. Would answer all his needs. His needs are not phalas. If this was his conception of Ishvara, we can well guess his idea about Maya. Ishvara is Brahman plus Maya. If Ishvara is like that, then what is Maya? Zero, nothing. The power of Brahman to appear through names and forms, consisting of the three gunas, and all the world is Trigunatmak, so the Shakti is also Trigunatmak. That is why the learned monk looked upon her as but a delusion and did not feel any necessity for admitting the existence of her personality, far less for worshipping or propitiating her. He felt in his heart of hearts that the aspirant's personal effort alone was what was necessary to liberate himself from the bondage of ignorance. Shankar has said that if with ego you proceed in sadhana, it will be like killing the son-in-law after marrying your daughter. But these instances are very low and his emphasis is on Nirguna Brahman. Personal effort alone was what was necessary to liberate himself from the bondage of ignorance. Tota's personal effort had sufficed because the Maya was gracious to him already. And there was not the least utility in prayer for the benign grace of Brahman, united with his power. So prayer to Brahman or prayer to Shaktiman Brahman is not necessary at all. Otherwise called Ishvara. So that is Ishvara. Consequently, he considered such persons as offer prayers to be laboring under the influence of impressions born of ignorance. That was his conception. The master wanted to be initiated into sannyasa secretly, as its reason. He, however, did not say anything about it to the master and introduced other topics, thinking that the above mentioned impressions of the master's mind would very soon vanish. When initiated by him, he would begin practicing the discipline of the path of knowledge. Another incident is coming to my mind about Mahapurush Maharaj. My Guruji used to read Mandukya, especially the seventh mantra, and Mahapurush Maharaj would show all the signs of the man of realization at that point. And at that point, the Durga Puja in Belur Math was to be performed, and the brahmachari came as per sentiment, as per tradition. He touched his feet and said, Maharaj, এখন মায়ের পূজা হবে, আপনার অনুমতি চাই. Now mother will be worshipped, I want your permission. And my Guruji says, even it did not take 1 second for Mahapurush Maharaj to change into the devotional mood. And all that signs of the Nirguna Brahma changed into Ashtasattvic Vikaras of the Bhakti. And he said, Mayar Puja Amar Anumati. Mayar Puja Amar Anumati. If you are worshipping mother, do you require my permission? And saying Ma, he came out of his room to the veranda to look at mother's image. There was no cloth on his body because he was showing the signs of absolute Brahmajnana. His sevakas had to hold the body and go forward, and he would go behind. So, my Guruji says, one who has seen this, if 1,000 people try to convince him that there is a contradiction between Jnana and Bhakti, will he believe? So, same thing with Thakur. Thakur has taught all his disciples that Jnana and Bhakti are not different. And so, Tota had to understand that though he was a man of knowledge, he had not seen this side of Brahman. He said that the path of he said that the master would have to give up his sacred thread and the tuft of hair on his head before the scriptural initiation into sannyas. So when we take sannyas, we have to remove the tiki, the tuft of hair, and also the sacred thread, which declares that we are a Brahmin. Now sannyasi has no caste. He has left all caste behind. He has overgrown that idea of caste. And so that tiki, that tuft of hair and sacred threads are removed and put in the fire itself. I have seen in other sampradayas, they put it in Ganges. The Guru cuts the hair and hands it over to the disciple. And he asks the disciple to tear off that sacred thread. And both are then put in fire or in Ganges. So he said he will have to give up the sacred thread and the tuft of hair on his head before the scriptural initiation into sannyas. And sannyas is the doorway to Vedanta sadhana. The master hesitated a little. He was meditating with giving up this. But now he hesitated because what his mother will see, she should not be hurt, she is already suffering. So he never wanted to do anything, not because mother, he never wanted to do anything which will unnecessarily cause the pain to others if he can avoid that. He did not say no. The master hesitated a little and said that he had not the least objection if it could be done secretly. But he would by no means be able to do it publicly, as it would deal a terrible blow to the heart of his old grief-stricken mother. The itinerant teacher understood the reason why the master wanted to be initiated secretly and said, "Very well, I will initiate you in private when the auspicious moment comes." Then, with a view to spending a few days in a suitable place, he came to the beautiful Panchavati situated in the north of the temple garden and spread his seed there. Now, oh, oh, the editor has introduced anything. Does it not contradict here? Tota stayed in Dakshineshwar for 11 months due to company of master. But on the first day, why it should say, with a view to spending a few days in a suitable place? There is no such mention in the Bengali. Now he said, I will initiate you in secret. So waiting for some good auspicious moment, he waited there. Moment, not days. How many mistakes have come? Then he came to the beautiful Panchavati situated in the north of the temple garden and spread his feet there. Rites preliminary to the initiation into sannyasa were performed. So, what are the rites before sannyasa? They will be spoken of here. Shraddha. Now, here, the transliteration of the original Sanskrit word is according to, one day I explained many languages to you. So here, Sraddha, people may pronounce it as Shraddha. Shraddha is different from Shraddha. Shraddha means propitiatory function for the dead ancestors. Shraddha is faith. So those who are not aware of the original Bengali by seeing English only, they should. I would put an H there also, SHR, Shraddha. No. No, in English, A without A it becomes half letter. With A it becomes A. So this Roman script is extremely deficient. So the international Orientalists have brought out diacritical marks. When there are dots above, below, dot, dash, then this 26 can be made into 52. So without that, this word is Shraddha. Shraddha, please. Later when the auspicious day arrived, Okay. When the auspicious day arrived, Tota asked the master to perform the Shraddha and other ceremonies for the satisfaction of his forefathers. And when those rites were finished, Tota made him offer Pinda according to scriptural injunctions for the satisfaction of his own soul. Because later on nobody is going to do, because he is not will have any child. So nobody will be able to do that. So he himself should do before taking sannyas. For the satisfaction of his own soul. Very soul is Atma Truptirjane. Okay. Atma means individuality. यथाविधाने पिंड प्रदान कराइए. For from the time of being initiated into sannyasa, the aspirant totally renounces the hope of and the right to the attainment of any of the worlds such as Bhur, Bhuva. Bhur means Prithvi Loka, Bhur means Antariksha Loka, Swarga Loka. He does not want anything. That is why the scriptures enjoying is offering Pinda to himself. Pinda is a lump of rice, cooked rice. That is offered as Shraddha. The master offered himself without reserve to each one of those whom he ever accepted as spiritual teachers and did their bidding with unlimited faith. Therefore, it is needless to say that he followed to the letter what Tota now asked him to do. He performed the Shraddha and other preliminary rites, kept the necessary fast, collected the articles according to the instruction of his teacher in the sadhan kutir at the Panchavati and waited for the arrival of the auspicious moment. When about 2 hours before daybreak, the auspicious moment, the Brahma Muhurta arrived. The Guru and the disciple met in the hut. The preliminaries finished, the home of fire was lighted, and the forest and the gardens round the Panchavati reverberated the holy, profound sound of the mantras pronounced before taking the vow of utter renunciation for the sake of God. The vow that has come down in an unbroken line from the Guru to the disciple from the beginning of time till today and has kept India well established in the position of a knower of Brahman. India is a country because from time immemorial the sannyasa diksha is being given and taken, and that is how the knowledge of Brahman is kept. The delicate, affectionate bosom of the Bhagirathi, Ganga, of holy waters, vibrating with the delightful touch of that sound, felt an extraordinary infusion of a new life. So the water also become infused by their chanting of mantras. Saradan Swamiji's observation. She flowed, dancing with joy, bearing as it were through her murmurs to all the quarters of the gospel. Gospel means good news. That after the lapse of ages, a true sadhaka of India was once more undertaking the vow of total renunciation for the good of the many of this country and of the world at large. The Guru was now ready to recite the mantras and the disciple to repeat them carefully and to offer oblations to the lighted fire. The prayer mantras were first uttered. They are called Trisuparna mantra. Prayer mantras preliminary to this sannyas initiation. Now, a translation or a gist of the prayer mantras is given by Swami Saradananda. May the truth of the Supreme Brahman reach me. Trisuparna mantra. May the reality, having the characteristic of supreme bliss, reach me. Brahmametumam, Brahmameva Madhumetumam. May the indivisible, homogeneous, sweet reality of Brahman manifest itself to me. Akhanda Ekarasa Madhu Brahman should come to me. O Supreme Self, who are eternally coexistence with that power of revealing the Brahman consciousness of all thy children. So that power is accepted. Brahman himself arouses the Brahmajnan in all his children. Devas, human beings and others. I, thy child and servant. So somewhere Saradananda Swami has mentioned that in Vedanta period, the master mood, Daseva, and the filial mood, that God is my father, was manifested. So we see here God is addressed as father and master. I, thy child and servant, am an special object of thy compassion, because I am taking sannyas. O great Lord, the destroyer of the evil dream of the worlds, destroy all my evil dreams. So the prayer itself is telling that the world of our experience is like a dream world. Evil dreams, the perception of duality. Perception of duality is a evil dream. Subject observing objects is called duality. O Supreme Self, I offer as oblation my vital forces and prana, ahuti, and controlling my senses, I set my mind on thee alone for the knowledge. O Shining One, who directest every being, prerayita, remove from me all blemishes that are obstacles to right knowledge and ordain so that the knowledge of reality free from. Now, these are certain faults mentioned in the Vedanta. When the Shishya receives knowledge from Guru, he may commit 3 or 4 faults. And so the prayer is that I should get knowledge without those faults. And what are those faults? Here it is mentioned from absurdities and contraries. Asambhavana, please note, those who do not have Bengali book. Asambhavana, Viparita Bhavana, oh, it is not given here full, Adirai. Asambhavana, Abhavana, Asadbhavana, Viparita Bhavana, then doubt and Asambhavana. That means when Guru teaches, the sadhak does not understand. Guru teaches something, the sadhak understands something else. Guru teaches something and the sadhak understands the reverse. Guru teaches something and the sadhak thinks it is not possible. These are the 4 faults. Guru teaches something the sadhak does not understand. Guru teaches something, the sadhak understands something different. Guru teaches something, the sadhak understands opposite. Guru teaches something and the sadhak thinks it is not possible. Free from these 4 defects, I want the knowledge to come to me. May arise in me. May all the things of the world, the sun, the air, the cool, pure water of rivers, grains like barley, wheat, etc., trees, etc., ordained by thee, illumine and help me to attain the knowledge of truth. All that may become Madhumaya to me and help me. Thou art manifested in the world, O Brahman, as various forms with a special potency. I offer oblation to thee, who art fire, that fire is a representative, who are fire with a view to achieving, through the purity of body and mind, the capacity to retain the knowledge of reality. Be gracious. The footnote says the purport of Trisuparna mantra. The purport of the mantra of the Viraja Homa performed before initiation. So the Homa proper for sannyasa is called Viraja Homa. Bereft of Rajogun, may all my personality become. Then began the Viraja Homa. May the five elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether in me be purified. Freed from the blemishes produced by Rajogun, by virtue of offering oblation, may I attain the nature of the light of consciousness itself. Swaha. Swaha means the ahuti is to be put in fire. Jyoti Swarup Bhoi. I should become like the light of consciousness itself. I attain the nature of light of consciousness itself. Okay. So, other way of dividing the body. This is the five elements. May the vital airs, prana, apana, samana, udana, and vyama in me be purified. Five vital airs are functioning in us. That which breathes in, that which breathes out, that which digests food, that which circulates blood, and that which takes your other body. All that should be free from Rajagun. Rajagun can be also said coloring, particularization, restlessness. Freed from the blemishes produced by Rajagun, by virtue of offering oblation, may I attain the nature of the light. May the light of consciousness itself, Swaha. May the five sheaths. Now we take as Atman, our body. The Indriyas living in the body as Atman. The mind as Atman. The I consciousness is Atman. And the joy as Atman. So they are called five sheaths. And there also the Rajagun functions. May the five sheaths, gross body, vital air, mind, intellect, and bliss be purified. It is called intellect. That is I consciousness. Freed from the blemishes produced by Rajagun by virtue of oblation, may attain the nature of the light of consciousness itself, Swaha. Now, the impressions of previous experiences. May the impressions produced in me by the objects, sound, touch, sight, taste, and smell be purified, freed from the blemishes produced by Rajogun by virtue of offering oblation, may I attain the nature of the light of consciousness itself, Swaha. Then different ways of telling the parts of the body. May my mind, speech, body, actions, manasa vacha karmana, sharirams, be purified, freed from the blemishes produced by Rajogun by virtue of offering oblation, may I attain the nature of the light of the consciousness itself, Swaha. O person of red eyes, that is fire, who dwellest in the body of fire and are capable of destroying the obstacles to the attainment of knowledge, do thou wake up. O fulfiller of desires, ordain that all obstacles to my attainment of knowledge be destroyed, and the knowledge heard from the mouth of the Guru may perfectly arise in my mind. May everything that is in me be completely purified, freed from the blemish. So many names are taken, and then it is said, whatever is in me. Freed from the blemishes produced by Rajogun, by virtue of offering oblation, may attain the nature of the light of consciousness itself. Swaha. A reflection of consciousness is mentioned after that. Reflection is a way of talking about the relation between the apparent self and the real self. The other way is the constraint of the real nature appears as constrained jiva. Both in Vedanta are called the appearance of the consciousness. So instead of a reflection of consciousness, the Bengali tells us, the original Sanskrit tells us, Chidabhas. Abhas cannot be described as a reflection. Reflection is one way. Constrained position is another way. The relation cannot be described. So we can call it Chid Abhas, the appearance of Chid. That is my nature. I, who am of the nature of Brahman itself. Real nature is Brahman. This I is reflection, constrainment, or appearance of Brahman. Offer as an oblation to fire all my desires. Desires are mentioned separately, each mantra. Saradananda Swamiji has given the sum total. Having wife, son, wealth, respect from people, beautiful body and so on, and renounce them all. Swaha. The master gave up his sacred thread and tuft of hair on his head and was initiated into sannyasa. Many oblations were thus offered, and the homa was brought to an end by the disciple saying, last, I give up from this moment the desire of attaining the Bhur and all other worlds. I assure all beings of the universe of freedom from fear on account of me, because I have no selfishness. He then offered as oblation his sacred thread and the tuft of hair on his head, according to the scriptural injunctions, and putting on a pair of kaupinas. How one can put a pair of kaupinas? Kaupin is loin cloth, langoti. And putting on kaupina and ochre cloth given by the Guru, according to the custom followed by successive generations of sadhakas from beginning of time, he sat beside Tota to receive instruction from him. So, sannyas, shraddha, Trisuparna mantra, Virija home, giving up tuft of hair and sacred thread, and getting kopin and ochre cloth, then the Guru teaches him Vedanta. That is the system. The sannyas ceremony is preliminary to learning Vedanta. We shall see the Vedanta tomorrow. Om Sarvadharma Sthapakastvam Sarvadharma Swarupakah Acharyanam Mahacharyo रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत। श्री रामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।